I welcome you all on behalf of Edureka. My name is Deepa Vasudevan. I am a marketing professional with more than 20 years in different aspects of marketing. So let me just take you through the agenda for today's session. This is an introductory session into digital marketing. We are trying to put in whatever we think are the most relevant topics for digital marketing. And this will give you a broad overview of what digital marketing is all about. So we will have an introduction to digital marketing, what it is all about. We would be talking about the channels or components of digital marketing. We will be talking about SEO. We'll be talking about pay per click or PPC. We will be talking about content marketing, social media marketing, and email marketing. We would also be touching upon digital analytics, including Google Analytics, as well as conversion rate optimization. We would also be talking briefly about how to become a digital marketer. Marketing is all about reaching out and communicating the right product to the right audience at the right time and at the right place. It includes what we call the 4 P's of marketing: product, pricing, place, and promotion. So, what exactly is digital marketing? Technically speaking, digital marketing is any marketing activity using electronic devices. Your LED billboards, your radio, your television, as well as your internet marketing, all are part of digital marketing. Now, your internet marketing is what we call online digital marketing. Today, the focus of our discussion today is going to be online digital marketing. And these days, when we talk about digital marketing, we mostly refer to the online digital marketing part of it. So, why is digital marketing so important? Technology is evolving. We have internet, we have handheld devices, we have smartphones, and we are on the path of getting 5G connections. So technology is constantly evolving. We are looking at newer methods, more effective methods of reaching out to our consumers. Second is also, this is where the audience is. If you look at the internet stats today, there are about 4.5, 5 billion users who are already there on the internet. And that is where the growth, or that is where the audience growth is happening. Now, if we compare it with traditional marketing means like TVC, which is basically your television commercials, print, or OOH, which is your out of home billboards, boards, etc., events and promotions, or trade marketing, how is digital marketing different? Now, one is the availability of data. Two is it's much more effective in terms of measuring ROI. And three, there's quite a bit of customer data which comes in. And when I say customer data, it's not just basic demographics, it also includes interest and other information related to his purchase history. Let me take you through an interesting website called Internet Live Stats. So this basically gives you the current number of people who are there, who are using the internet. You can see the number of internet users at, about 4.5, 4.6 billion users. All right. So that is where your internet users are, rather, that is where your consumers are going to be. Now, coming back to our presentation, digital marketing is useful for all types of businesses, whether it is retailers like apparels, groceries, accessories, electronic goods, or FMCG, or for services like banking, insurance, restaurants, movie halls, malls, or utilities like telecom, electricity, publishers, news and entertainment, bloggers, events, real estate, automobiles, as well as for corporates. Even if your business might be that of a software company, you would still need internet marketing, you would still need digital marketing for building your brand. Let me take you through different types of digital marketing that's available today. So there is search marketing, there is email marketing, there is social media marketing, and there is mobile marketing. We will be delving deeper into each of these as we go forward. And most of the marketers or brands actually use a mix of these different types of digital marketing depending on their strategy. Now let's check out some of the common channels for digital marketing. Okay, these are also called as components. Let us check search engine optimization or SEO. SEO or search engine optimization is a basic topic in digital marketing. Now, discovery of content has moved from directories, portals, and aggregator sites to search. For example, if you had looked at some 10 years back, 12 years back, etc., if you wanted to know the latest news or information, you normally went to something like a yahoo.com or an msn.com, or you went to an aggregator site like samachar.com, which listed out different links and topics, and you just clicked and you went and checked out the news. Nowadays, that's not the case. If you want an update on COVID-19 or on a Nisarga storm or on Black Lives Matters, all you do is you go to the search, you go to Google and you just Google it out. Now, let me share some interesting facts. 93% of all content consumption on the net actually originates on search. Now, search is not just for news and updates, it's also for products, brands, services, travel information like flight, hotels, utilities, transactions, etc. The other interesting statistic is that 60% of users on the internet actually use search to land up or for a local search to find a local business. Now, if you have been using Google for the last 5 to 6 years, you would realize that the search result page has been evolving over time. Now, when you search, you see local businesses in addition to your normal search results of websites or web pages. Let me take you back to the internet stats once again. Look at the number of Google searches that has happened today. It's about 4.4 billion. Okay. Now, why do we talk so much about Google? The reason is that Google is the leading search engine. About 85 to 90% of all internet users actually use Google. The other search engines include Yahoo and Bing at about 20-22% of users using them. So it's extremely critical. Google is extremely critical for the business of all types. So what is SEO? SEO is the process of optimizing content, your technical setup, and reach of your website so that your pages appear at the top of a search result for specific keywords. SEO consists of a series of best practices which enable discovery of content, websites, and online properties like blogs, social media pages, etc. It's a mix of technical and content practices which aid search engine crawlers to rank your page and index them so that they appear on search results. Now, let me just give you an example of search and how it works. Let us search for laptops. Okay. So now what you see here, slightly below the fold. So these are your local search results because the algorithm figures out that at some point in time, you would probably be looking at buying a laptop rather than just reading about it. So here's where your SEO actually starts working. Let me just show you. So this is basically a search optimized page of Amazon. Now, this is another search optimized page from Flipkart. Now, during the early days, search results were mostly text results. But now you see it growing more and more exhaustive. You can also see image results at times. There is also location results, as we saw earlier. And if you look at a search related to travel, you would see a lot more enriched information in terms of pricing, in terms of taxis availability, in terms of hotels, etc. Search is also important because content is getting generated at an exponential rate. Now, when I talk about content, it includes text, images, videos, etc. If you're familiar with WordPress, WordPress is a CMS tool or content management system. WordPress alone publishes some 2 million posts every day. So that's the kind of content that's getting generated. Okay, it's a simple flow actually. Higher your site ranks on the search engine for the search term or keyword, higher is the number of visitors to your site. This would eventually result in higher levels of engagement and purchases or monetization of your site, in turn, leading to greater awareness for your brand. Now that you have a basic understanding of what SEO is all about, let me take you through what are the critical points to keep in mind. Target business analysis. Know your business. That's step one. Okay. Know what are the products, know what are the customer segments available, and know what your target segment is, know the positioning and your brand values. This would impact the way your website is designed and the content it would carry. For example, if you have a website on food, is it a recipe site or is it a food delivery site or is it a restaurant site or a restaurant listing site? So depending upon what kind of business you are in, that would in fact tell you what's the kind of layout, what's the kind of content, and what's the kind of elements you should have. Next comes keyword research. Keywords are search terms which are used on search engines like Google. They can be single words like, recipe, or they can be group of words like pani puri, or it can even be phrases, sentences like how to make pani puris. Now, these are actual words or group of words which people use to search on the internet. There are tools like Google Keyword Planner, which helps to identify keywords based on the actual search stats. For example, if I'm in the business of air conditioners and I'm writing an FAQ section for prospective users, should I use air conditioner or should I use air con or AC or window AC or split AC in my content? Web, all these search engines also have something called a webmaster tool. Webmaster tools actually help you to identify the search flow on your site, the keywords, the volume of searches, how your page fares, as well as the click-through rates or CTR. Keywords can be what we call as high volume ones or long-tailed ones. Now let me just give you an example. Let's go back to search. Let's look for recipe. Okay. So this is what you see for recipe. Okay. Now let's look for a recipe of, let me say, begun bhaja. Okay, begun bhaja. Okay. Now let us say I am somebody who needs a video step-by-step process. Let us see. Okay, let us see. We see this recipe provider called Bong Eats out here. Let us say here. Okay, you see it. Now, if you look at Bong Eats is actually optimized for this search term, Begun Bhaja. Now, if you go back and look at recipe, let us see if Bong Eats appear anywhere on this page. Actually, not on the first page. So your word, your keyword recipe is actually a high volume keyword, whereas Begun Bhaja is actually a long tail keyword. Basically, it allows you, even if you are not a very old site, even if you are a new site, even if your content is limited, you can still rank higher on a search result page by going for the long tailed keywords. There are also tools for optimizing your keywords. So these are the tools which allow you to check which are the keywords driving traffic to your site or which are the keywords driving traffic to competition sites. Now these tools also help in doing an SEO audit of your site. So let me just give you some examples like there is Moz, M-O-Z, there is SEM Rush, there is Web SEO. So these tools come in handy in identifying what are the SEO optimization opportunities available for you. Next comes your content optimization. Now your SEO can be on-site SEO or off-site SEO. Now on-site SEO is also known as on-page SEO and is the practice of optimizing elements of your own website. The Keyword here is on website. It's your own website. Now, off-site SEO, on the other hand, are links elsewhere on the internet which drive traffic to your site. On-site SEO includes content optimization. It would include creating and curating good quality of content, sufficient relevant keywords. You need to understand one thing. A good SEO actually takes time to show results. The question now is, what does a good on-site SEO mean? So it would include one, page speed or loading time, two, AMP pages. Now you would have noticed that when you search on the mobile device, the result is actually quite different from what you see on the desktop or laptop. This is because some of these pages which are AMP optimized pages. AMP actually stands for accelerated mobile page. So if you have got pages which are AMP optimized, Google or other search engines actually give a premium for such pages. Point three is keywords. Have the right set of keywords, have relevant keywords, have keywords in your title, meta description, even your URL, etc. Make sure your content quality is good. The content is not thin. When I say thin content, it means about having just 3 or 4 lines and expecting people to spend time on your site. That's not done. Okay. Have a sufficient length of page in terms of content. Look at basic things like title, meta description, tags, etc. Next point is images. Bigger the image, the better it is, but make sure the file size is small, it is compressed. Use things like alt tag, which actually is nothing but a text which describes what your image is all about. There is a premium on images which are unique. So if you have unique images, the probability of getting ranked on SEO or search result page is higher. Look for cross linkages. To give you an example of cross linkage, let's go back to the Begun Baja example that we looked at. So it's a brinjal recipe. So if you can connect it to a couple of other brinjal recipes, or if you can connect it to other fried recipes, uh, Begun Baja actually means fried brinjal. So if you can connect it back, link it back and say, I have got more fried recipes like fried tomatoes, fried potatoes, fried brinjal, fried, let's say, lady's finger, etc. It actually helps. It tells the search engine that there's more content available. This is a website of repute, and hence your results have a probability of getting ranked higher. Also, refrain from duplicating content. If you necessarily have to have duplicate content on multiple URLs, use something called a canonical tag, which tells the search engine crawler that the original content is on this particular URL and to ignore other URLs for crawling purposes. Also, look at the kind of scripts that's there on your web page. Make sure there aren't unwanted codes lying around. So these are some of the things that help in having a good on-site SEO. Let's talk about the other way of classifying SEO. So there is white hat SEO, there is black hat SEO, and there is gray hat SEO. Now, white hat SEO is basically what is recommended. That is what you should try to do for your site. It is the ethical way of doing SEO. It includes having relevant content, well-labeled images and alt tags, as I discussed earlier, relevant links and references, clean content, including spelling, grammar, etc., standards compliant HTML, and relevant page titles. Now, black hat SEO is something that people try to get into when they want quick results. It's a way of trying to con the search engine actually. So this would include stuff like duplicate content, keyword stuffing. Keyword stuffing is when you recklessly use the keyword for everything, like every sentence has a keyword on it. And the other could be redirecting from other websites. You would have seen at times when you make a slight error in the URL, you land up on a site which has only links. So that is actually not really desirable. Also, at times, getting links from sites like this, which have only links, no content, only links. So if you try to get links from these sites, it actually comes under black hat SEO. Gray hat is a mix of both. It's kind of gray in the sense you can't really say it's black, but it's kind of gray. Again, if we go back to the example of links, let us say there is an economist, a very famous economist who writes for you. You are a financial daily, and you have an article written by this economist who, in turn, also has a website or a blog of her own. And if that economist links back to your site and says, hey, listen, I wrote this article for, let us say, Indian Express financial section, check it out. Now, that is a guest writing. It's not bad per se. But on the other hand, if you pay some 25 different bloggers with very thin content and ask them to link back to one of your articles or one of your pages or your website, that would be kind of gray. So these are not really recommended practices. What is recommended is definitely the white hat SEO practices. So that brings us back to the introduction on SEO. Let us look at PPC or pay per click. Now, pay per click, these are ads that are present on top whenever you search for a keyword. As the name says, it stands for pay per click, and an advertiser or marketer pays when a user or a visitor clicks on the ad. One of the most widely used PPC campaigns are based on search. This is also called search engine marketing or SEM. Now, let me just take you back to that example on laptops. Okay. Let us revisit this page. Okay. Now, here you see something which starts with an ad at the top of the page. Okay. Let me just show you. Okay. Now, this is an ad. This is what is known as Google Ad. This is part of Google's marketing program. The program itself is called Google Ads. Earlier, they were called Google AdWords. So how does an advertiser have his ad displayed? He or she gets a Google Ads account, creates a campaign, and chooses the keywords. Now, for example, in this case, this is your keyword, laptops. Or let us look at it and let us check if there are ads for laptop also. Yes, there are ads for the word laptop also. Now you would see the results are a bit different in terms of the ads that have appeared. That's because people have chosen different keywords. Somebody has chosen laptop, somebody has chosen laptops. Now, as I was saying, so you can create, if you are a marketer, you can create an ad using Google's AdWord program, AdWords or Google Ads program, and you can choose the keywords that you want to target. You can also choose the geography where you want to target or certain demographics like age and gender and interest. What is that person interested in? For example, let us say you are a local business selling cameras in Hyderabad and you want to advertise only in Hyderabad. You can do that with Google Ads. In fact, you can choose which part of Hyderabad you want to focus as well. Now, in addition to this, PPC ads can also be display ads, they can be shopping ads, they can be video ads, or they can be what is known as discovery ads. Display ads can be contextual in nature or they can be based on interest. It can be brand campaigns aimed at creating awareness about the brand. And these ads actually play across websites, which are part of the Google Display Network. Let me give you a quick example. Let me show you a publisher like Sifi. Okay, so here you go. So there is content. Okay, so let just look at this ad that you see here. Okay, out here. Now this is basically a display ad. Let us check out what shopping ads are. Let's come back to the laptop example. Let me just remove these drawings. Yeah. So you see ads out here. You see ads out here. You also see ads out here. Okay. Now, what you see here is actually a shopping ad. Search ads, what you see here, or SEM ads, these are mostly text ads. Let's talk about video campaigns. Video campaigns are normally found on YouTube. They run at the beginning of the video that you're planning to watch, or if your video is too long, you also end up seeing them in the middle of the watching. Discovery campaigns are ads that display across your YouTube as well as Gmail. You would have seen in your Gmail, particularly in your promotions tab, you would see 2 or 3 ads which look like similar to the text ads that you see here. But when you click on it, they show some images and more information. So those are basically Google's discovery ads. So what's the difference between SEM and SEO? SEM are these results which indicate they are ads. So you can see ad out here, you can see something called sponsored out here, which actually indicate that these are paid ads. And they mostly appear on the top of a search result page, or they appear on the top right of the search result page. SEO, on the other hand, is about optimizing your website or your page so that it appears on the top of a search result page. So this is actually an ad. This is SEM. What you see here, Amazon and Flipkart results, these are SEO pages. Even your local results are SEO pages. Now, Google Ads allow you to have campaigns based on your goals, based on your campaign goals. So these goals could be creating brand awareness or increasing subscription or purchases, filling forms, etc. So why do we opt for PPC? One is it definitely generates more traffic. In addition to that, it also is a quicker way to get traffic. It's precise in the sense you can target it to your target customer in terms of demographics, in terms of interest, etc. Also, there is agility. When I say agility, what it means is there's sufficient and enough data to say what is working, what is not working, what is the ROI, and then you can tweak your campaign based on these metrics. Earlier days, when we were running campaigns on traditional media like promotion or a print campaign, we had to do a before after study to understand what's the impact of the campaign. Now, with the digital marketing or an SEM, you don't really have to wait that long. Your data is available and you can see what worked, what didn't work, and take a call based on that. Now, what are the drawbacks of PPC? One is definitely the cost part of it, because you need to have sufficient budget to run campaigns, particularly when you're starting a business. You need to optimize your spends, and let's admit it, budgets in most cases for most businesses, it's finite. It's not something you can constantly keep asking or keep using. Second is volume. The traffic to your site comes in as long as you are running the campaign. But once your paid campaign stops, this traffic will also stop. So it's basically not a very self-sustainable method of growing traffic. Also, if the product you are offering does not have sufficient number of searches happening, if the volumes are low, it might impact your traffic estimates. It has been seen that for the same volume of traffic generated, in the long run, the cost per visitor is lower for SEO than for SEM. Now we have talked about PPC campaigns, which are CPC or cost per click based campaigns. In addition to this, there are also CPM campaigns, which is cost per 1,000 impressions, which are impression based campaigns, or they can also be CPL or CPA campaigns. CPL campaigns are based on cost per lead, or CPA campaigns are cost per action. Now, action can be filling forms, landing up on a particular page, giving your mobile number, etc. Now, your choice of campaign depends on your campaign goals. So while purchasing or selling is the end goal, it's important to use these campaigns to reach out to the customer through the entire process of experiencing your brand. For example, what it means is that your campaign should revolve around the IDA model, that is awareness, interest, desire, and action. Let's explore this further. Create awareness about your brand as well as your product. This is where you need to create what your brand means. You need to tell what your brand means to the prospective user. This can be display advertising or impression based brand advertising. Let me give you an example. Suzuki or Ford might be planning to launch a new brand or sub brand of SUVs. At times, you see big banners on news websites or financial sites telling you coming shortly, launching shortly, etc. Now, this is the first step in the engagement. Next comes grasping the interest of the viewer. Provide information, answer questions, give suggestions. Basically, giving a good experience with useful information and guidance. In this stage, the consumer is still in the early stage of the buying cycle. A desire to promote your product. You would have seen that at times, if you are going to a Make My Trip site and looking for a Bombay to Delhi flight, you check out the price, you check out the dates, and you come out. And when you go back, you keep seeing the MMT banners on other sites that you are visiting. So this is basically a retargeting campaign. Now, be there when the customer is considering your brand seriously and has demonstrated his need or desire by reaching your website. Retargeting is quite a good way of reaching out to the customer who has visited your website. Be ready to take action. When the customer purchases the product, she actually drops out of the sales funnel or she moves into the service funnel. So when she's making the purchase, make sure that you're ready to handle the entire process of buying. Have a site which enables shopping, have a payment gateway integrated with your site, etc. So a couple of points that you need to keep in mind when you are going for a PPC. At the beginning, you should have a digital ad strategy. Your digital ad strategy will be a subset of your marketing strategy, which in turn will be part of your overall business strategy. You can decide on the best channels for your target segment, your budgets, and your overall timelines and your media plan. You also need to have a good digital ad design. This is the creative part of your campaign. This is where your brand's positioning and values come into play. Now, you as part of a brand or as part of an agency which is managing the brand will be involved in creating copies for text campaigns or images, rich media content, or videos for campaigns. Next comes your ad landing page. Now, this page should reflect the keywords that your paid campaign is targeting. You need to optimize the look, the feel, and content on this page. Now, let me just remind you about that laptop ad that you saw. So you would have seen that Delhi's first. Then you have Lenovo, then you have some Reliance ad, etc. Now, how does an ad get listed first? It's a combination of your bidding price as well as how good your landing page experience is for the customer or the user or the visitor. At targeting, you should look at which is your target group, look at the demographics, the interest, the geography. For example, if you're selling art and craft materials and you have seen that a majority of your users are women in the age group of 25 plus in India, it would be a waste of time of your precious marketing budget to target men in India. Okay, so you need to decide, you can even decide which day of the week you want to run the campaign or how frequently you want to show. Next is pricing. Pricing, you can plan your overall budget. You can also plan the bid amount for each keyword. You can choose between manual or automatic bidding. Manual is when you decide the upper limit or the maximum amount you are willing to pay for a click, whereas automatic is when the Google Ads system does it for you. You can choose either of this. The recommended thing to do is run automatic for a couple of days, see how it works, use those learnings, and then tweak the campaign accordingly. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the PPC topic. So let us get on with this, and we will be talking about content marketing. So content is anything that adds value to the visitor or reader's life. Content marketing can cover different aspects of a customer journey, be it acquisition, lifecycle management, which involves sales, services, offers, promotions, loyalty programs, as well as attrition or churn management. Content can be in the form of text articles, infographics, images and photos, videos, podcast, webinars, or white papers. Now, content marketing involves creation as well as dissemination of information which is valuable, relevant, and consistent so as to acquire new customers, engage with the existing customers, and to prevent churn. It can include data and insights for a B2B business, which is basically business to business, that's B2B business, or it can consist of product information for an e-commerce company. Now, the ultimate aim is to increase the proportion of engaged customers and thereby help in increasing your revenues. For example, if you have been to websites which cater to flights, say for example, skyscanner.com, when you check for flight details, let us say for Calcutta to Shanghai, you would have seen that you would also see more information about Shanghai, which would include what to do, where to shop, what to eat, what is the currency, what's the weather, where to stay, etc. So that is an example of content marketing. Another example is blogs on a product site. Some more examples: product description on an e-com site, Q&A section on an e-com site, a paper or an article on social media site like LinkedIn, or the posts that you see on Instagram or Facebook. All these actually constitute content marketing. Now, let me just take you through how a sales funnel works and how content marketing actually helps in the process. So, in a typical buying process, a customer comes in as a viewer. He gets interested in the product. Then comes the phase where he or she has lots of questions and need clarifications. Now, content marketing plays a crucial role here. You would also realize that only a percentage of these viewers eventually become buyers. And content marketing aims to increase this percentage so as to maximize the engagement. Now, let us look at social media marketing. Social media marketing is a very powerful tool for businesses of all sizes to reach their prospective customers as well as existing customers. Social media is growing, and as more and more users are joining the internet, social media is one of the early uses that a novice user gets into. Many times people would tell you that they don't use internet, but if you quiz them further, they will say, hey, I do use WhatsApp and Facebook. So that is how people get onto the internet. It's an social media at times is an entry point for them. Social media enables you to get your brand out there where the users are. It also includes owned media, or it could include paid media. Owned media is your brand or your business page. This page, in fact, can be used for posts, which are quite suitable for generating awareness, updates, breaking news, etc. Now, social media platforms help in increasing visits to your website. They can also be used for running promotions like contests and live telecast of launches, events, etc. Many brands can also use social media to provide shopping experiences. So, social media can be a very suitable tool for creating and sharing your content. As I said, it's a powerful tool for generating new leads, as well as it can be a significant customer interaction point. Earlier, if you had a problem in the service of your mobile operator, let us say Vodafone or an Airtel, you had to call their call center and wait for someone to talk to you, or you had to visit their outlets. Now you can comment and send a direct message to businesses on the social media pages, and you can get serviced. What many brands have also done is they have integrated their social media accounts with their CRM tools, that is, customer relationship management tools. And when you raise an issue on social media, it flows seamlessly into their complaint list on their CRM. Now, let me take you through some of the tips involved in a good social media strategy. So, there is content planning. Content plan, you should have a schedule for your publishing. You should have a schedule for your post. Look at trends, look at seasonality, or you can look at festivals, Diwali, Dashera, etc. Look at upcoming events that are going to happen, like the Olympics event or anything else that's going to happen. Look at your business updates, like is there a product launch happening? Are there new sub-brands coming up? Also keep an eye on competition products. Now, based on your content plan, create great content. That's the next step. Create interesting content. Include a mix of images and videos. Videos are one of the largest growing content categories. Now, the popularity of YouTube and even TikTok reflects this. Create a consistent brand image. Make sure that your social media strategy is holistic and integrated. What you talk about your brand on one platform should be consistent with the post on other and your overall brand values. Next comes promotion. You can not only share your content on your social media properties, you can also promote them. For example, you can run paid campaigns on Facebook. You can either run generic campaigns or you can run campaigns to promote a particular post. Share appropriate links. You can cross promote your different channels. Like you can publish your YouTube videos on Facebook and add some more enriched text to go with it. Or you can promote a contest which is published on your website and post it on your Twitter page as well. You can even work with partners and cross promote each other's product and services. Next comes track your competitor. Any marketer would tell you that it's imperative to track the overall market, the competition, and the changing consumer behavior. Keep an eye on all the channels that your competition uses, as well as the tactics that they are using. Let us look at what are the options available. Everybody knows about Facebook. Facebook, if you were to compare it with the population of any country, Facebook would, Facebook would actually be much bigger than many countries in this world. Now, how to create a Facebook account? It's easy to create. Almost all of us would have Facebook accounts. You can use Facebook for posting content, listing your event, hosting your shop, or even you can join the marketplace. Now, Facebook has the option to have a business account. Most of you would be using the individual account or the personal account, but Facebook also has the option to have a business account. Now, this comes with added functionalities, including having an advertising account, your product catalog, as well as the ability to use pixels. Pixels can be used for retargeting. Instagram. Instagram is great, particularly if you are a retailer. It works well with images as well as videos. Videos on Insta need to be shorter than what you publish on YouTube or on Facebook. Insta also has the option of different types of accounts. If you are a designer or an artist, you can have a separate kind of account called creating, or you can have a business account, which is good for shopping, retail, etc. Insta also has the option for Instagram ads. You can either promote your business or promote a particular post, just like in Facebook. Depending on your business, you can also integrate Facebook and Instagram accounts and even have the product catalogs from Facebook connected to your Instagram post. Let us look at LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is a bit different from the other social media platforms in the sense that it is primarily used by professionals for networking. In addition to having your business page on LinkedIn, you also have paid options, including banner ads or display advertising, as well as paid features in your account. For example, a salesperson account, it actually allows you to send emails to certain number of people. This is particularly useful for reaching out to prospective customers, important stakeholders, and influencers. LinkedIn advertising is particularly useful for a B2B marketing setup. You can also publish relevant articles as well as form groups based on your area of interest or operation. You can encourage important stakeholders to publish recommendation about your business, which will increase your product or your brand's visibility as well as credibility. YouTube, almost everybody knows about YouTube. It's a leading platform for video content. You can create your own channel if you're a business, and this content will get viewed, shared, commented, etc. by the users. You need to remember that video usage is growing at 32% worldwide. It's fairly high compared to the other modes, and it's a very effective channel to reach out, particularly to talk about your brand. Twitter is another social media platform that you can use to broadcast, particularly news and information. It's a microblogging site. What it means is that there is a limit on the characters that you can publish at one go. You can also use Twitter to run your paid campaigns. Also, Twitter is quite useful for resolving your customer issues as well as a mean to generate leads. In addition to this, there is also WhatsApp. WhatsApp started off as a messaging platform for individuals, but today you can even have a business account for interacting with your customers as well as for shopping. Some interesting facts: Facebook bought Instagram and then they bought WhatsApp. Currently, you have WhatsApp integrated on Facebook, and Instagram is also integrated on Facebook for content, shopping, as well as for advertisement. So if you plan to have a campaign on Instagram, you don't necessarily need an Instagram account. You can use your Facebook account and run a campaign on Instagram. YouTube, on the other hand, is owned by Google. It was bought by Google, and YouTube is part of Google's network for video and discovery campaigns. Now, one of the most critical things of social media marketing is that it is not enough to just create an account. You need to engage with the customer, you need to create interesting content, and listen to what your customer and prospective customers are talking about. Let's look at email marketing. Now, it's the most direct and effective way of connecting with your leads, nurturing them, and turning them into customers, consistently winning out over all the other marketing channels. Email is one of the oldest forms of online marketing strategy, starting way back in the 1970s. However, it has evolved quite a bit from those early days. Earlier, you got generic email listing out the products and services, but now if I get an email, I expect it to start like, "Dear Deepa, this is what you bought last time. Thank you for your business. Based on your interest, these are the 5 things that will be good for you, and there is an offer on this, and this is the coupon that you can use." So today, email marketing is getting increasingly customized and personalized. There are 2 types of email marketing. One is transactional emailers and the other is promotional emailer. Now, examples of transactional emails: statement from your banks, transaction alert on your credit card, password resets, shopping information like items left in your cart, payment failure, etc. Or it could even be welcoming emailers when you subscribe to something, or a thank you emailer when you fill forms. Promotional emailers, on the other hand, would include this example. For example, if you are a seller of umbrellas and raincoats, you can choose to run a back to school campaign in June, July, showing your latest range of umbrellas and raincoats and showing what are the offers available on them. Or if you're a restaurant, you can run a monsoon magic email campaign telling people about the new menu or whatever you are doing to celebrate monsoon. Email marketing actually continues to be quite important for marketers. Why so? Because of the high ROI, or return on investment. So if you were to spend $1 on your email campaign, your returns would be about $44. So that's the kind of ROI you get on email campaigns. This is quite an effective channel to reach your customers. It's 40 times more effective than social media. So that's why email still continues to be a major part of digital marketing campaigns. It's easy to integrate with other channels. So if you have somebody buying online, or if you have somebody buying offline, or they interacted with you on social media, etc., you can combine it, you can integrate it with your email campaign. Let me take you through some of the data, that's interesting data on emailers. About 72% of people prefer receiving promotional content through email, compared to much fewer who like to have it on social media. Let me call out some interesting information about mobile marketing. So look at the text messages, look at the phone call messages. So this is way lower than what you see for emails out here. Okay, we will come back to this point when we talk about mobile marketing. So some of the best practices: build your own list. Okay, now sending list or your customer data can be first party, second party, or third party. First party is when somebody signs up, subscribes to your newsletter, buys something from you and gives their email ID, or explicitly tells you to send communication to them. So that is first party. Second party is when you have a partner, like for example, between a mobile operator like Vodafone and a handset provider like, let us say, Apple or Samsung, and you decide to share the data between yourselves. So that makes it a second party data. So if Vodafone takes the data from, let us say, from Apple, that becomes second party data for Vodafone. Now, there is also third party data which you can buy from a third party provider. The problem with the third party data is you don't know the provenance of this data. You don't know how reliable it is. You don't know how good it is. So always try to build your own data. Use first party data preferably. Next is do not send out ads or emailers all the time. Plan your campaigns. Do not spam. Avoid sending emails on Monday mornings. Check which part of the world your customer is in. Your Sunday evening can actually be a Monday for somebody in a different part of the world. Establish your goals. Be clear about your email campaign goals. Is it to create awareness or to increase engagement or to encourage a call to action like buy now, fill in this form, etc. Select the campaign that you want to send out. Now, is it a seasonal campaign? Is it a welcome series? Is it a transactional campaign? Is it triggered by certain events? Or is it a re engagement campaign? So be clear about what's the type of campaign you are planning out. In addition to this, a couple of points that you should keep in mind. Always preview and test your emailers. Track the email performances and unsubscribes. Avoid spammy content. Be cautious about the subject line. Send a clean sending list. Keep a clean sending list. Send only to your engaged users and make sure you get explicit permission from users to send them these mailers. Let me talk to you briefly about mobile campaigns. So mobile marketing it's emerging as one of the most important ways of digital campaign. As the name suggests, it involves marketing activities on your mobile devices, smartphones, and tablets. Mobile marketing includes SMS marketing. Many people think it's very intrusive. It's correct, but it has its uses. Say, for example, it's quite useful for transactional information like resetting passwords, OTPs, alerts from banks, shipping alerts, etc. But as I said, if you're a marketer, you need to exercise caution while using SMS marketing. It's very intrusive, it's irritable, and when a user is traveling, some of these inbound SMSs are actually chargeable. Next could be ads which appear on applications or apps. So there are different ad formats which are available like text, image banners, as well as interstitials. Your mobile campaigns can also be push notification. So if your brand or your business has an app, you can send notifications to the user. Again, ensure that these are not too frequent and they are relevant. You can also choose in-app messaging, where you can have a message box in your app and you can communicate with your user. Let's talk about analytics. Now, the best part about online digital marketing is its measurability. Data and insights can be derived on user behavior. It can be about the website. This is called web analytics. It can be about campaigns. It's called campaign analytics. Or it can be about the social media uh, property. So that's called social media analytics. Web analytics is when you have a website, you have visitors coming to your website. You would want to know who these people are, where do they come from, what are they doing on the site, what are the opportunities to make the experience better for them, and what are the opportunities available to increase your revenue. Now, Google Analytics is one of the most important web analytics tools which are available for you as a website owner. So it gives you information on the audience. It gives you information on their behavior. It also gives you information on the source of traffic, which would include whether they came directly, whether they came through search, or whether they came through some referrals or your social media pages. Now, why do you need Google Analytics? It's a free tool. Now, there is also a paid version of Google, which is more comprehensive, called Google 360, which is used mostly by enterprises. Data collection is automatic. Now, all you have to do is use that snippet of code and put it on your website. You can do it yourself, or you can ask your technical person to do it, and Google Analytics start collecting data. It's easy to customize result. You can have your own customized results, which you can decide to use for yourself, or you can share it with your colleagues. It also has this feature for search to find out what people are actually searching for internally on your website. It helps you to optimize your content as well as to understand what people are looking for. Now, it also tells you where your traffic is coming from. That helps you to identify which source gives you the best ROI, which source is gives you good user behavior on your website, which of those users, which of those sources are good for conversion into a sale or a subscription. Let me briefly talk about campaign analytics. When you run a campaign, you would want to have some information on the campaign with regards to what markets, what demographics, what time of the day, what time of the week, what kind of creative worked better, what was the cost of keywords, etc. So campaign analytics actually gives you information on this, and it helps you to fine tune your campaign as well as to plan your future campaigns. The third is, of course, social media analytics. It can be of three types. There's publishing of data, which will tell you about how many posts got published, how many people saw, how many people liked, how many people shared, etc. There is also social listening and what we call as online reputation management and sentiment analysis. This would include things about what people are talking on the internet, not necessarily on your own properties, on your own pages, but also in general. So this captures information, and you can analyze this to see what people are talking about, whether the sentiment about you is positive or negative or it's neutral. There are tools like Salesforce, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, etc., which allow you to do social media analytics. You would also have campaign analytics similar to your PPC campaigns that we talked about with reference to Google. So that brings us to conversion rate optimization. Okay. Now, what is conversion rate optimization? It's the systematic process of increasing the percentage of visitors who come to your site and encouraging them to perform desired actions like making a purchase, filling out a form, or consuming 20 pages. That it could be anything. It involves understanding how users navigate through your site, what are their actions, and what are the barriers to purchase. Now, how to calculate conversion rate? There are stages involved in a typical process. For example, if I want to study a digital marketing course online, I will search, I will find some 5 sites which I think are relevant. I will land up on the website, gather information, clarify doubt, etc. And then I decide to make a purchase. For retailers, a purchase might be a conversion. For a blogger of a food site, subscribing to a newsletter will be a conversion. Now, goals can vary. So the calculation of conversion rate also varies depending upon your goal. If you're looking at conversion rate for a visit, it will be the converted visits divided by the total number of sessions. If you're looking for a subscription of a service, the conversion rate can be defined as the number of users who subscribed divided by the number of total visitors. Now, CRO aims to increase the percentage of visitors to your site who would make a desired action on your website. So, how can you optimize conversion rates? Focus on the user experience, UI or UX. Look out for the layout of the page. Make sure your pages are mobile friendly. Does your page load fast? Do an A/B testing to see what users prefer, what is their preferred path. Check out your headlines. Optimize things like your headlines, your product descriptions, call to action buttons, font color, font size, etc. The next is optimize your landing pages, particularly if you're running a paid campaign. Make sure your landing page is relevant and appropriate for your ad. Value for your customer. Make sure there is something of value for your customer, why your property or your product is better than competition. Create a sense of urgency. Now, for example, only 2 left. When you see a message like that on an e-com site, you quickly want to buy it and pay. So these are some of the ways to increase your conversion rates. And more importantly, address the concerns of the user. Make sure you answer queries, make sure you clarify their doubts, etc. Now, there is no direct impact or direct relation to SEO, but CRO actually benefits SEO quite a bit. It improves customer insights. It provides better understanding of your customer journey, thereby helping you to optimize your pages and content. Better ROI, higher conversion rate is equal to better use of your resources like your marketing budget. Better scalability, it allows more browsers to become buyers. Thereby, your business actually grows without depending too much on your paid campaigns. Better user experience will result in a more engaged customer. An engaged customer will become an evangelist for your brand. You're answering the questions, clarifying doubts, etc. It helps in generating trust. And all this eventually help in better page rank as well as a position in your search engine results. Let's look at what does it take to be a good digital marketer? What are the skills needed and what does it take to be a good digital marketer? So we discussed about SEO, PPC, content marketing, email marketing, mobile marketing, analytics, etc. So you can be an expert in any of these. So you can be an SEO expert, or if you like to run campaigns, you can be a campaign expert, or if you are a WordPress expert, you like to work with articles, etc. You can be a content marketer, you can be a publisher, you can be part of the editorial team, or you can even be a product marketer if you are somebody who understands technology and you understand consumer behavior. You can be the person who decides what all features and functionalities will be there on your website or your app. There's also analytics. We talked about web analytics, we talked about campaign analytics. So if you're good with numbers and that is something that excites you, you can be an analytics expert. So that brings us to the end of our session today. So I hope you had a good time today and this session was useful in getting a broad understanding of digital marketing. You have a great day and stay safe. Take care.